You're thinking about selling your house and you need some information on how to have a successful sale, this is the video for you. I'm Evan St. Gerard, and my guest today is Anthony Curcio. I butchered his name so many times, we have to do a few of these. But anyway, Anthony, the floor is yours, basically. How do we have a successful sale legally?
Okay. As a seller, before you do anything, before you list your house, you want to make sure that you have all your permits in order. You have, you know, you basically want to make sure you don't have any outstanding mortgages or liens on the property, mechanics liens, that sort of thing. So the best thing you want to do is, you can hire a title company. They can run a title search prior to you listing your home. That's the easiest way to do it. You could do this, you do the research yourself, go down to the county clerk, go down to the town, and look through your building records. But I prefer hiring a title company. Just they're the pros. They'll lay it out for you in a nice format, and you'll know what's going on with your property. Biggest thing that can slow down a closing and delay your deal is outstanding building violations, open permits, that sort of thing. And it's little things like that you want to take care of prior to going to market, because it's something simple you can take care of that's in your control. And at the end of the day, you won't have to worry about slowing down your closing. Somebody like me, I can help you out, whether you need to get a building permit taken care of, whether you have building violations that are outstanding. You may have to go to court and take care of those. I can appear in court for you. If there's a lien on a property, I can look into that. And, if a lot of times people have outstanding mortgages, that's the mortgage on their house that'll get paid off at closing. So that's not an end all be all, and there's also other things that pop up on a title report, such as, traffic tickets, federal tax liens, bankruptcy filings, you name it. So, if you think you're going to be able to sell your property and none of this stuff's going to pop up if it didn't happen, well, it's going to pop up, and it's going to raise a few red flags for the buyer of your house, especially if you can't convey insurable title. If you don't get a title company to insure your title, you're not going to be able to go through with your deal, and it's going to fall through, unfortunately. And if you need financing, you're going to have a tough time finding a bank that's going to finance something like that with all the red tape on it. So, once you get into contract. You know what? Back up. I'll talk about contract, because that's part of the deal with me. I'm going to be looking at your contract, minimizing your risk as a seller. Now, if you're not aware, there's something called a property disclosure form that normally, just to break it down simply, if you're a seller, you can either fill out the form and basically talk about what's wrong with your property, what your knowledge of the property is. And if you fill that out, submit it. Basically, after the closing, if something happens that is incorrect on that piece of paper, the buyer may be able to come back and sue you down the road. Now, the law used to be, if you're a seller, you could either fill it out or you give the buyer a $500 credit at closing. And if you give them a $500 credit at closing, you basically wash your hands of everything. You walk away, and there's no liability on the buyer side, with certain exceptions, of course. But that law is it's not going to be in effect anymore. And you're going to see a lot of litigation coming out, because now these homeowners are going to have to fill out these forms to the best of their ability. And I don't know about you, but I don't know every little thing about my house before I bought it. There could be underground oil tanks you don't know about. There could be all kinds of crazy things that you don't know about your house that a normal home inspection wouldn't show up. It wouldn't show up on a normal home inspection. It wouldn't show up to the naked eye. So you can be you can have some trouble down the road and not know about it. So it's going to open people up to some litigation. But you fill it out to the best of your ability, the best of your knowledge, and as long as you're not misleading, it's not a material lie, and it's something that is going to affect the house in a material way, you shouldn't have any issues. But it's a scary situation because it opens up people to a lot more litigation down the road, for sure.
I say the best policy is just be as open and honest as possible.
Yeah.
Anything that might be harmful, basically, you don't want to not disclose it, basically. It might be something menial, just let people know about it. Just be open and honest, and you should, hopefully you're in the clear, basically. I mean, like you
Yeah.
said, you bought a house a few years ago, you're not going to remember every detail.
No, and if it's a material thing like a crack in the foundation, or if there was some kind of termite damage, or some mold, you better disclose that, because
Take care of it and disclose it,
that's going to be a
basically.
problem for sure.
Definitely take care of it. Honestly, with those type of things, those things that you just mentioned, if you nip those things in the bud early, basically, you can prevent a lot of damage and a lot of hassle later on. So just take care of it as soon as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trying to spend anybody's money, basically. Obviously, financially, you can't take care of everything there. You're aware of it, basically. Just take care of it whenever you can, whenever financially you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what else?
Sorry?
What else did you want to discuss?
I kind of went through that a little quicker than I thought it was going to be.
Well, you know what? There's a lot. There's a lot. You've been doing this so many years that basically is pretty much it comes out like that.
Right. I forgot what okay. So another legal issue that can pop up when you're purchasing a home or selling a home is something called a lis pendens. Now, most people hear lis pendens and they think, oh, there's a foreclosure on the property, but that's not necessarily the case all the time. Lis pendens is a vehicle that's used to notify people that there's some kind of litigation going on with the property, whether it's a foreclosure, whether it's something to do with the ownership of the property. It could be other situations too. I recently came across this myself. I'm looking to purchase a new home and like the house, but I'm an attorney. I'm doing my due diligence. So go on the county clerk website to see who, if it's the right owner, what's the story with the history of the property, that sort of thing. And sure enough, lis pendens pops up. They don't put the court documents on there. So luckily I'm an attorney. I'm able to do my research and look up the index number and find the summons and complaint and see exactly what's going on, because it didn't really give me too much detail. Turns out that, by the way, this is something I suggest you never do. This person bought a house with their boyfriend. Boyfriend agreed to put a down payment on the house and only have the girlfriend on the deed. I don't suggest you ever do that, because you run into the situation that happened where they had an oral agreement supposedly, and there was a written agreement supposedly, but it was never, disclosed. Basically, he was going to put down a down payment. He was going to do repairs to the house, updated it. So he put all this money in. He increased the value of the home. She went and tried to turn around and sell the property. He's like, not so fast. I contributed all this money. We had this deal. You're supposed to give me this X amount of dollars. So now his attorney filed a lis pendens, basically saying there's some litigation regarding the property, whether, he's looking for a money judgment, or, when the property does sell, he's looking for something saying that he gets a certain percentage of the proceeds. So this is going to delay everything now. You're going to have a lis pendens on your property. It's good for 3 years. Nobody has to take it off. It just sits there. So any prospective buyer is going to try. It's going to turn prospective buyers away. If their attorney's worth their salt, they're going to find it and tell you to back out. Because if you go through with the sale, even though you own the property, the lis pendens is still active. So any litigation or the results of any litigation that happened, you may be on the hook for. So you're going to have a major issue down the road. So at that point, you got a real problem, and you may lose title to the house at the end of the day, depending on what the issue is. So you went and bought a house, and then they took it out from under you because of the results of the litigation.
And that's why it's important to have title insurance. Basically, a lot of people want to buy a property. I don't need title insurance. Nothing's going to ever happen. I don't really need this. No, you do need it. It's any attorney I work with basically are not going to allow their clients to purchase a house without title insurance. No. And you want to know whoever's selling the house is legally able to sell the house. So you don't want to be buying a house and then finding out basically it was cousin Sam that sold your house. Meanwhile, cousin Sam doesn't own the house. It's grandpa. Grandpa owns the home, and he never gave permission to sell his home. And guess what? You spent a lot of money, you did a lot of renovations and whatnot, and like you said, somebody else comes over like, yeah, thank you for the renovations for our home, and we're taking our home back.
Yeah.
So you want to do due diligence always.
Yeah, and you never know what happens in court. Anything can happen, and this guy wasn't on any chain of deed or anything like that, but, judge may say, he put so much value into the property, he's definitely entitled to some kind of either a money judgment or some kind of interest in the property. So, you really want to be careful with something like that. And that's when a good attorney can come in and do the due diligence that needs to be done prior to purchasing your home.
Good attorney, a good real estate attorney. I'm
That's right.
stressing
Real
that.
estate attorney. Let's make sure we say
It has
that.
to be a real estate attorney that you're working with because they know exactly what to look out for and keep an eye on, basically. And if there's something that comes up that doesn't seem kosher, they'll let you know about it. Now, I don't want to give all gloom and doom to people. I want to give them some examples of some positive stuff. Let's talk about some positive stuff basically in real estate. Because there is a lot of positive basically owning, buying, selling, and investing in real estate. Let's talk about some when you're purchasing a home or selling a home. What are the positive stuff we can talk about legally?
Positive, you're getting a title, title free and clear. You're building, you look at any millionaire or billionaire in the world, and they've built their wealth in real estate somewhere, somehow. Whether if it wasn't their initial business, they did it once they accumulated wealth. It's the biggest wealth building tool in America, and it always will be. So if you go and buy your first property, it's your first step to creating wealth and building a nice nest egg for your family. And you're not paying someone else's mortgage; you're paying your mortgage. So that's the key there too. You're not paying rent and wasting money every month.
I think that's a perfect place to end it right there. It's like
Yeah.
if they are interested basically hiring you basically as their real estate attorney for whether buying or selling, how can they reach you?
My email is acurcio, ACURCIO at curciolawpllc.com. You can call my office at 516-809-8483 or my cell at 631-943-8351. If you prefer text, you can text either of those numbers and I'll receive your text message.
Are you available during the weekend?
I am available during the weekend. I try to limit my, because I have a family, I like to spend time with my family, but I have a 24-hour rule. I try to get back to clients within 24 hours. In real estate, there usually isn't too many emergencies, but obviously if it's an emergency or if it's something that needs to be addressed, I will address it. I'm a service industry and I try to give my clients the best service I can.
I'm glad you mentioned that because basically it's very crucial when you're purchasing or selling a home. It can be daunting at times, but you want to make sure that you have professionals that always have your back. So if you have questions, sometimes the questions come during the weekend. Remember, be mindful. People have families. They want to spend time with their families also. Be mindful of that. So a quick text, basically, they'll call you back or text you back as soon as they can.
It's a very emotional thing. A lot of people, it's their biggest purchase of their life. So I get the urgency when you think of something and you get, it scares you a little bit. You need to need someone to talk you off the ledge. I'm more than happy to do that. Done it more than once for sure.
You have the last word. What do you want to tell the audience?
If you're looking to buy or sell a property, please think of me and Evans. We'll help you make all your real estate dreams come true.